it up on the Twitch side. Twitchy. Come on. Oh, that's right. I just deleted my browsing history. Damn it. Oh, that's right. I just deleted my browsing history. Damn it. Oh, that's right. I just deleted my browsing history. Okay, there I am. I already have the damn thing open. Oh, yeah. Okay, there I am. I already have the damn thing open. Oh, yeah. Okay, there I am. I already have the... Okay, all right.
Have you even noticed that my name here is Maya Angelou?
No, I was too upset to really... Okay, we're recording right now. Yeah, let's just do a very brief half an hour something or other. Okay, so, all right, we got the standby screen. Let me go into something a little more tasteful. Yeah, right. Oh, God, I gotta reorganize all this bullshit, too. Huzzah. Life is insane. Okay. Yeah, I guess good old stars will work. Okay, so, hello, Brayton.
Hi, Rav.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so this is just a little bit...
Hold on, gotta sneeze. Okay, I sneezed.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
So that would have been awesome if we got on camera, so it would have been like, hey,
Never. I shall never show a moment of weakness.
Right, you are perfect. Speaking of weakness, however, ladies and gentlemen, just in case there's some of you out there, this is pretty much just a follow-up of what happened. I was accidentally...
Bring out the apology, Mr. Pervert.
Yes. So Stormy Daniels, I needed to pay some hush money.
But it was just me in a wig.
Yeah. Looking in
but
the
I was
mirror.
really hard up for cash.
Yeah, but no, jokes aside, though. Yeah, I was accidentally streaming when I shouldn't have been streaming. Thankfully, nothing major happened, and if there was anything incriminating, it's no big deal because, I've shared it elsewhere on other streams, so it's like, ugh. The important thing is I did not do what other more successful, more professional streamers on Twitch have done and masturbated live on cameras.
No. Luckily, you don't have a face cam set up.
Yes,
exactly. It could be. We'd never know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
Fluffy's not the name of his cat, if you know what I mean.
Now I'm regretting this decision right here. So, but anyways, this is the Raph is okay stream.
Raph is okay.
All right, so
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that's basically it. We're just going to be here for at least 30 minutes to see who comes in, who doesn't come in, and I'll just explain the situation again.
Oh my God. Okay.
How you doing, Brayton?
I'm doing fine. We've been rocked with tornadoes and rainstorms and hail the last couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Worst of it is behind. Oh, thanks. The worst of it is behind us.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to be more concerned. No, well, it's like, have you ever dealt with tornadoes directly yourself?
I've never been in a home that was wrecked by a tornado, but yeah, they're a pretty common occurrence.
Okay.
It's just weird the amount of them that have come through. I guess they've gotten some up in New Jersey and in the in the Northeast, but there have been like 16 last couple of days in various Midwestern states. In Iowa itself, I think there have been 6 or 7 in just the last 2 days that have traveled through Iowa into Western Illinois. Luckily, we got hit with hail pretty bad yesterday and some thunder and rainstorms and wind, but the tornadoes themselves sort of sandwiched us, like they went north and south of us and we were stuck in the middle, and just kind of got the residual, bad weather and wind from it.
Okay, but no, I'm glad that you and your fellow Iowano,
nobody I know directly was harmed.
Right. So, but no, it sucks that we're dealing with all this insane weather. Since we're already doing kind of controversial things, do you think it's environmental degradation or is just that season, that time of the year again?
I don't know. I can only speak to what's going on in my neck of the woods, but we don't really have like a hurricane season like people in Florida and stuff doing on the coasts. But tornadoes particularly can sort of strike at any time of the year, though not in the winter that much, because I guess it has something to do with, I don't know, meteorologists know these things, not me. But yeah, I think Earth has had enough of us. I think we're getting kicked out. We're being evicted.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah. No. it's like, what is it? California is now becoming the new cold place. Yeah, granted, you're in a way worse position than I am. But yeah, I think it's only a matter of time until.
I don't think it's a matter of California becoming the cold place. I think as a total, the world is sort of freezing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. It's like, what is it? The deserts are not as hot as they used to be. It's a reason, or is that just I'm probably mishearing.
I don't know. I don't live in a desert.
Okay.
You're in the desert. You're a graboid, or not a graboid. What are they called? Are they called those things from Tremors?
Graboids, yes.
Okay, there you are.
Yeah, named after the poor Asian gentleman that got, Well, no. Yeah, it's like, what is it? There was an Asian store owner. Unfortunately, I forgot his name.
Graboid?
Yeah, no. He in the first movie, there the guy who owned the local store. He was with everyone else, and they were just wondering, what are these things, where they come from, and he came up with the name Graboid. Just a few minutes before he was one of the first human victims of the town of Perfection.
So his name wasn't Graboid.
No, but since that was one of his last words, they named the monster after him.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, which is sort of a terrible way to. It's like, yeah, your last words is the monster. You named them your murderer, basically.
Yeah, that could be. What if your last words were like, I don't know, cornhole or something? Just something. Now we got to run from the cornholers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but yeah, no. So, just apologies.
You would like your last word to be a monster name, though, wouldn't it? That would be your Rosebud.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Zillafoot.
Yes, I posted online, ladies and gentlemen. Deal with it. So it's been 3 years. I don't think SRSM is going to yell at me too much.
No, you posted your isolated scene online. I noticed that.
Yeah. Like you said, the one part in Zillafoot that everyone can't stand. So.
Well, I mean, everyone that I have seen equals, myself to a certain degree and one Letterboxd reviewer. I don't know if everyone in the world who has seen it hate that scene.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but yeah, no. This Sunday, what are we doing, Brayton?
The movie Graveyard Shift.
Yes, it's coming back. So yeah, there's going to be that. We're watching The Blues Brothers, which amazingly is a film I have not seen myself.
But you've seen Blues Brothers 2000.
Yes, it used to air all the time on HBO, but we'll save the banter for that. And how many, that's going to be our 21st episode.
Yes, we're turning 21, and it's on Easter, fittingly, because they're on a mission from God to save their Catholic orphanage.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't go out of our way and try to do a movie that actually did take place on Easter.
No, but it has a religious tint to it.
Yes. So
it's perfect.
Yes. So then that's because they're orphans, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay. But
and the penguin is a menacing force. The penguin is a character and none.
Yes.
I think in 2000 they still carry that over though, don't they?
How so?
Well, isn't there like an orphanage subplot in the second movie?
Yeah. No, the movie opens with the orphanage actually getting closed down off camera, so it's kind of like a giant FU to all the progress.
Right. The first movie is to save the orphanage. They have the concert, but
yeah.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, but that's why some movies.
That's worse than Ghostbusters 2, forgetting everything happened.
Yeah, or worse, Alien 3 killing off the last 2 survivors, and 3 out of the last 4 survivors. So, and I have to wonder if that's just kind of a callous, not a callous disrespect, but just a callous abandonment of what happened in the previous film. It's sort of like how whenever they make sequels to comedies or action films, it's like, just because you can't get a particular actor back, just because, scheduling or purpose reasons like that, they decide just to kill the character outright. So, which just seems like a little bit of a harsh thing to do when you can just wait a little bit and maybe bring back the character for the third film, or just say that they're off somewhere else, having an adventure on their own.
Yeah.
But it's like, I have to wonder if that's just lazy screenwriting, or that's just, the easy way to go about things. Oh, they died. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
All right, but we'll be watching the Blues Brothers, the original from 1980, 81,
80, I think.
80. Okay, so it's still a movie right out of the 70s, so to speak.
Oh yes. Back in the heyday of SNL, obviously, of course, Blues Brothers started out as an SNL act, and probably the best movie that's ever sprung from one of those things that I can think of.
Yeah, no, I deeply look forward to it because I do like kind of that era of comedy. So it
Yes.
would be very nice to actually finally see this thing because it's weird.
Oh, it's the quintessential get the band back together type of thing. It's, the Muppet movie without Muppets. Or I guess that movie wasn't getting the band back together. That was get the band together.
Together, yes.
Yeah.
So okay. Um, bum, 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 bum.
But
Gotta
no,
think.
one of the great jukebox musicals, shot all on location, various different places,
Mm-hmm.
many wonderful cameos. Steven Spielberg makes a cameo. That's when he and John Landis still liked each other before the events of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's a really awesome, wild ride.
Yeah, yeah. No, I deeply look forward to it. And once we get to 26 episodes, which is roughly a full season of regular television back in the day,
Oh.
or is that where we plan on?
Well, this is our second season. Keep in mind.
Yes, but episode count will be at 26. So,
Yeah.
um,
What's exciting about that?
no, no. Is that when we're gonna finally do the podcast version, or what's your plans there?
Oh, I don't know. I
Okay.
still have I've got so many podcasts.
Okay, we'll hold off on this, and I won't discuss any more of the creative behind the scenes nonsense for this little sorry about it video here. So
Oh. Has
okay,
anyone else showed up?
no, no one else has shown
Oh,
up. Well,
great.
yeah, we'll give it
They're all
20.
scared off by the previous stream.
Yeah, yeah, no, we'll give it another 20 minutes, or it's like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, no shame on me. But how? So,
That might be the situation. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, but bum, 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 bum. Just seeing, trying to pick something to work on. Oh yeah, might as well do this asshole. Okay, but yeah, no, thank you, Brayton, very much for informing me what's going on, and to Goji Shay and Kaiju Commander, if you come back in the future. Yeah, sorry about that. That was a faux pas on my part, but like I said, it could have been a lot worse. And to be fair, there's people out there who have done a lot worse than I ever could. So it's like Ben Shapiro.
What?
Oh, you know how horrible he is, and you know.
Well, I mean, I know how awful he is, but did he do something particular that was embarrassing instead of everything
Yes,
he
he's
does?
Ben Shapiro.
No.
Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, all the, like, what is it? I'm getting more confident with myself because as horrible as people accuse me of being, at least I'm not. Ugh.
Yeah, but don't you think that's kind of a sad way to, that's a sad route to self-confidence to say at least I'm not.
I know, but I'll take anything at this point. I'm getting old, so ravages of time are finally catching up to me. So
I may be a total dork, but at least I'm not a, I don't know, transvestite dominatrix missing all his vital limbs. That's not really a great positive angle to put on yourself.
No, no, it's like, what is it? It's like the heyday when I used to hang around the comic shop back in my like late 20s, and
Yes.
yeah,
The often spoken of legendary comic book shop at this point.
yeah, it's like I look back on it, it's like all the times that you deal with all these up and coming professional artists on the independent scene. And this was the day before, printing and webcomics were commonplace. So having it actually printed on paper by lesser companies meant a big thing. But it's like now I look back on it at this time, and a lot of those people, they've either disappeared or they stopped their up and coming careers completely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's like I got stressed out about all that teasing and all that criticism for what? By people who didn't come in after their first book. So it's like, yeah, why should I worry about it? So, and especially since, now that I understand myself a little better, I'm more than happy just to let it slide off my back. So, so yeah, it's like, fuck it. But at the same time, we got some really cool things coming down the pipeline. So, and Brayton, you can keep it quiet. So keep it secret. You don't have to share any.
What?
any
Oh.
Or unless you want to, like, what kind of projects?
Are you threatening me with silence?
Yeah, we're gonna watch a Red Letter Media video if you do, young man.
Oh no, not again.
Oopsie doozy, daisy wazy. Anyway, why do I do that? That's a weird iteration I have.
Why do you go to them though? If you're gonna watch a review without seeing a second of the show, go to someone who's a little more,
Yep.
no, just a little more evenly balanced and not absolutely atrocious.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. No, we won't. That's just my go-to. I kind of enjoy their snark a bit, but I do agree they are unfortunate origin point of a bigger problem. So because yeah, it's so weird how, like you said, how fans will just immediately just kind of co-opt this stuff and make it even nastier than it already is.
Well,
So.
we were having this conversation before the second stream started,
Mm-hmm.
but I do stand still firm that they are particularly, detached cynicism is their only drawing point. They're incapable of being earnest, and when they are trying to praise something, it's just the most vapid. We are more well spoken than them. It's just the most vapid compliments you could get. So really, that's their only draw to their fan base is, oh, we don't take anything seriously, and isn't it fun to poke fun of things?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the greater problem of it, however, despite how many claims they've say to try to dismiss them or distance themselves from these people, they have fostered the very toxic environment that a lot of movie fan bases have taken heed from their past Plinkett reviews of years past, which were
Yes.
funny at the time, but I don't know if they hold up very well. I found great amusement of them when I was 14, but there's a time and place where an audience member should grow up.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, their fan base really hasn't. They're the worst outskirts of any fan community, I think, are the people who follow them.
Yeah. Would you also kind of blame them in part for maybe why Star Wars fans are such fanatical
Well,
wackaloons?
that's exactly what I'm. That's precisely what I'm speaking of. The
Mm-hmm.
weird claiming ownership thing. It's one thing for a lot of these things to suck, but you have a choice not to watch them and not to occupy your time with them. They've made it their whole identity to
Mm-hmm.
occupy their own time with this stuff instead of moving on to things that they might like, and spending hours and hours, whining about it and bitching about it. And
Mm-hmm.
now you've got thousands of YouTube channels where that's all there is oh, this is an absolute betrayal of my childhood and Georgia. It's just the whiniest people in the world.
Oh yeah, and even worse, it's even worse when they take that kind of miserable petty fandom nonsense and take it into much darker directions.
Well,
Um,
yeah, when you start assaulting people online verbally and
mm-hmm.
doing all this, that's absolutely disgusting and wrong. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying, I hate with a passion the MonsterVerse, but I don't make hour-long video essays about it and reach out to other people who hate it and say, let's go on the warpath. I
Mm-hmm.
just don't care, and I move on to things that I like.
Yeah. No,
If
that's
you don't like something, why let that consume you and occupy your time when you could be watching things you do like?
yeah. Now, what
So that's
about?
my very problem with them, is that their channel is centered on negativity and
Mm-hmm.
cynicism and bitching and moaning.
Yeah, even their review sub series where they actually do talk positively about stuff. Do you think that's a little too marred with the snark?
Well, yeah, they can't help themselves, and you look in their comments, it's nothing but, again, they're people. There's not a sincere comment amongst any of their review videos. It's just their idiotic fan base saying, "Oh, this, I bet they'd like it if Rich was making fun of old people again or something." It's just, they're incapable of sincerity.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now how do we, based on a lot of our past
By
works?
making podcasts talking about movies we like we have done
Mm-hmm.
and continue to do. Now, when
Yes.
we talk about our live stream things, that's a whole different type of thing. It's a fun little event where we can interact with our fans, and it's a one night thing usually. With the movie Graveyard Shift and with our spin off Twitch TV series,
Mm-hmm.
same thing. We're talking about things that we like and not bitching and moaning about things we don't like, can't change, and really, don't deserve the time of day. We don't really occupy ourselves with.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to riffing on things too, that's another thing where it's supposed to be in good fun and good spirited and humor, and again, just not complaining.
Yeah, yeah, but it's like, yeah, get like, okay. First off, I think the unique thing about what we do on Twitch is that we actually watch the thing with you, so it's not like we're giving you a spoiler filled. This is what happened, and here's what we think. You actually get to experience it with us, unless you don't like musicals, or particular
In
other.
which case, I hate you. I never want to speak to you.
We should do the Channel Awesome musical. So,
Oh, I don't even know what musical did they do. One of their movies as a musical?
oh, that's right. Okay, never mind.
Oh.
Like I was making a hypothetical joke that we could do like a music like the rise and fall of the channel, and then it's like, oh wait, yeah, they did that terrible music video based on music video based review based on The Wall, Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yeah.
And apparently, I have not seen that one, but apparently that one really went over poorly for them. So,
Well, why would we do that?
I don't know. I just thought it'd be funny just to kind of poke fun at the whole video reviewer thing in like a tragic musical in 3 acts.
No.
Yeah. So, but oh my god, yeah, we'll keep it simple because I doubt. Oh, by the way, I doubt you and I are ever going to do something where it's like, hey, by the way, Brayton, we're going to start a crowdfunding campaign for the Angry Brayton and Raph video game movie.
I don't think so. I don't. I'm not begging for handouts so that I can. I mean, I can do that on my own. The Brayton movie is basically just me sitting in my room. I don't need $90,000, and I don't need to send you T-shirts and things as rewards and make you producers on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and especially after all the mayhem with the Mystery Science Theater stuff going on. So.
Well, they're like, I mean, that's an indication number one, or what do they call it? What do they call that thing with Exhibit A? That's it. That's sort of like Exhibit A, but I mean, I'm speaking more generally. There have been a lot of Kickstarter things like that where it's all turned out to be just a giant pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
With a thin veil of inclusion.
Yeah, and it's funny too because, like, if I ever do get something major done, but I do need to do I still wouldn't feel comfortable doing a Kickstarter thing. Because I don't know, it may just be me, and I don't.
Especially if you have nothing to prove, or if you have nothing to show them, or if you've done nothing and are just coming out of the ether. Why would someone invest in you if they hadn't seen any of your past work or anything?
Oh yeah, but
so I understand with like stuff with MST3K or people, creators who have a track record and recognizability.
Mm-hmm.
There's at least some past evidence of what they're capable of.
Oh yeah, but no, it'd be like if I got like a bunch of comics done and they're ready to be printed, but I need some extra money to print them, and I start a crowdfunding campaign. And I wanted to actually give them like really good printings, not like the simple fan convention stuff you've seen. It's like I really want to make like 3-issue long omnibuses with like very good covers and bindings and all that. But even then, like if everything was ready to go and I just need cash to fund it, I don't know. It just feels a little. I think the term embarrassingly guilty, I think, is the best way I can describe it.
I would agree with embarrassing. I just don't. I think there was a term called e-beggars or something, where people who would constantly on their YouTube channels beg for money because, oh, I gotta pay my bills, oh, I gotta pay off my car, oh, it'd be, give me this money for equipment, and then they spend it on like video games and things like that.
Yeah, no,
you never want to be seen in that light and as someone asking for handouts.
Yeah. Yeah, and granted, I know some of these video creators are successful enough where they could reasonably ask for money to do this stuff. But yeah, it just feels a little. It's like, what is it? I have a Patreon, but it's like I don't like advertising it that much. And well, obviously there's barely anybody on there, but I feel a little better about it than it's like. But before we start the video, let me beg for money and give me this and give me that. So, although it would be nice if you guys gave me money on my Patreon and show us.
I need money, so I don't have to draw hentai.
Yeah, so, and also, yeah, thank you, Brayton, for actually warning me what was going on, and big thanks and equal apologies to Kaiju Commander and Goji Shea if they ever see this later.
Like I said, I wasn't listening to the stream because I had it on mute, because again, I have not seen Picard, and I'm interested somewhat in the 3rd season, and I don't need those frauds spoiling it for me. So I wouldn't know if you had started speaking or anything, so I just let it run for a while.
Okay.
But it wasn't until you started clicking around and your mouse started being active and you went on to other videos, it was like, oh, he really doesn't know. So I felt it important to let you know.
No, you and Warrior King, who was in the chat, you both informed me through Facebook. And like I comically said, when I finally did open my Facebook to share one of the video links I was watching, I humorously went like, ooh, I got 3 messages. I'm popular today. 2 seconds later, fuck!
Yes. Your current name in StreamYard is Fuck My Life. So
yes.
That sort of gives people your outlook on the whole situation.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, I could have done way worse. And there's people out there who've done way worse. And they're still praised and deified for their horrible actions.
I only offed 3 people.
I only got one news reporter killed, as opposed to you, who accidentally shared his favorite girl from the Golden Girls. You freak.
Hey, everybody has their favorite.
Mm-hmm. So
I like Blanche. No, you know what? I like all of them.
yeah, no, they're all good from what
They all
little
have
I've
their
seen.
merits,
Yeah.
especially Estelle Getty. Oh, what's her name? So there's Ruth, there's Blanche. No, Blanche, Dorothy, Rose, and oh, what's the mama's name? What is Estelle Getty's character's name? Hold on.
I just know her as Estelle Getty.
Yeah.
Yoda?
No. Estelle Getty, Golden Girls. Her character was Sophia. That's right. Sophia Petrillo.
Oh yeah, that's right. What?
Picture it, Sicily, 1932.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember it was something Italian. So
Yeah. She was Dorothy, Betty Davis, Jesus Christ, B. Arthur's mother on the show.
exactly, and it's like, how long did that show last?
Quite a few years. It was very popular,
Mm.
and it still remains very popular. I enjoy the show a great deal. I would watch that with my mother when I was a gay young boy.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy it quite a bit.
Right, and it's you can still readily find it in like syndication if you know where to look.
Yeah, it's still playing all the time
Mm-hmm.
on TV and on DVD and anywhere
Yes.
media is sold. I'm sure it's streaming a number of places.
Oh yeah, Pluto probably has a whole channel dedicated to it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. With that says, I just to pick your brain since you're here. What's your
Ow! Ow!
yeah? Take
Ow!
that.
Why the chopsticks? Let's not remake
I
Hannibal.
was about to. Oh god! I was about to make the same joke with the. Damn it! The chopsticks.
I'll play him, the Goodfellas guy. I'll be him. It tastes yummy, Raph.
Oh, that's right. In Hannibal. Yeah, that was pretty. That was a
Yeah.
dumb movie.
What's his name? The guy who just
I,
passed away
yeah.
last year.
God.
Not Abe Vigoda, but
Yeah.
it's Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta. Okay, it was close enough. It's like ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a spaceman.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No. Now that you're here, I was thinking a lot about it yesterday. What's your opinions of I Love Lucy?
Oh, I love it. I don't know. What do you say about it? It's I don't know if the problem. I don't know a lot of the old sitcoms of that day. Like I think The Honeymooners still holds up great,
Mm-hmm.
and the Dick Van Dyke Show obviously is genius and way ahead of
Mm-hmm.
its time.
Oh yeah.
I Love Lucy can be a little broad, especially and I'm talking primarily about Lucille Ball herself.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you show it to a younger kid whose comedy comes straight from TikTok and things like that, Lucy may be a bit off their speed.
Mm-hmm.
But as a person and as a creative force, she obviously left her mark on television and comedy as a whole. And that show, again, widely popular. I think the most popular television show of its time.
Yeah, and to be fair, I know a lot of people kind of look at it as sort of passé,
Yeah,
but
it's when you think of classic sitcom, that sort of checks all the tropes.
mm-hmm. Yeah, but also it was kind of a trailblazer at its time because it was highly offbeat. Lucy and her and Ricky were very unorthodox characters for 1950s television.
Yes,
It's
unorthodox by meaning batshit crazy.
yeah, batshit crazy, equally both comical, and the fact that they were an interracial couple actually played.
Yeah.
Yeah, by a Hispanic person and an Irish person. Oh my god.
Yeah, because Ralph and Alice Cramden on the Honeymooners, you could see these people existing in real life and really living above the apartment above you, and
Mm-hmm.
there weren't, Ralph had his moments obviously of buffoonery, but they weren't broad, caricatures like Lucille Ball and Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah, from what I remember, The Honeymooners, yeah, it's a much more subdued series, even with all the famous one-liners and character beats.
Yeah.
It really, like you said, you could realistically see this actually happen in real life. And I think that the fact that it was like filmed like just
Filmed live in front of a studio audience and basically in just one setting.
yeah, almost like a stage play.
Yes.
It's like, I think adds to that feel, whereas I Love Lucy, it's like, granted, it never got into like insane situations like, everybody's pregnant with sandwiches on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But yeah, yeah, there were definitely like, what is it? Oh yeah, Superman's come to visit, and Lucy's out on the land.
Yeah.
So not exactly the same thing, all things considering.
Yeah, it was pushing boundaries creatively, as well as, like you mentioned, having an interracial couple, and
Mm-hmm.
them being a very in the spotlight interracial couple in Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly. So and also famously, Lucy, I Love Lucy was the first series to just outright have an on-screen pregnancy, from what I understand. So
Mm. Yeah.
all right. But yeah, okay. I just want to get that because a lot of people seem to be against the show now, but I guess it's only because its age is finally starting to show and people don't really respect older television like they
Yeah, well,
used
that's
to.
what I mean. The thing, you and I have had this, and I won't belabor the discussion because we've done it many times on stream. But the whole topic of this being a golden age for television, I think it's a golden age for long-term storytelling type of television, like
Mm-hmm.
a drama series that stretch over a number of seasons or an arc continuous story.
Right.
But to sort of pretend that there were no great television shows until the Sopranos Big Bang, as it were, it's sort of ridiculous because you're discounting, decades of great television,
Yeah.
and people are just sort of, who've never seen it, just sort of write it off because it's old and archaic, and therefore, for whatever reason, wouldn't hold up or is without meaning or merit.
Yeah, yeah. Or like episodic television usually gets ignored a lot for various reasons.
Yeah,
Another,
some understandable reasons,
yeah, yeah.
but because some episodic television can fall into the trap of just hitting the reset machine
Oh yeah,
every single
definitely.
episode and have no sense of continuity whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not speaking to things like the Twilight Zone, where that's the point of
The
it being an
yeah,
anthology show.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, when you have a core group of characters who learn nothing, that's obviously a problem.
I think
But
yeah, a lot of '90s sitcoms fall in that order, and
Mhm.
but yeah, no, it's like if you have a good drama series, you can keep the characters pure in every episode, but you can still put them in these different situations. I think
Yeah.
that's why Columbo worked so well than it did.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there are situations where
Columbo never went to the moon. Big missed opportunity.
right, yeah, that was a wasted opportunity. So,
He did go to college, but never to the moon.
oh my god. Okay, so what? I did not know he had to go to college.
Well, that's the fame when everybody does, the joke of blank goes to college. That's what they're referring to. Yeah,
Okay.
it's one of the episodes from the '90s revival,
Mm-hmm.
which is hit and miss, as I've discussed in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But that's definitely one of the better ones. He goes there as a substitute, like he's not a student. He
Mm-hmm.
goes there as a substitute teacher for this criminology class, and two of the students commit the murder. They murder their professor, and then he sort of works within the school and student body to uncover everything.
Just the image of you digitally inserting Columbo into the movie Rope. That's all that came to mind after you said
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
Well, that one picture of him in Star Trek was wonderful, so I'm not opposed to crossovers like that.
yeah, no, that was a very good Photoshop. Whoever did that.
Yeah,
So
some of the photoshops like that you have shared have been really, funny and believable. Like that one comes to mind, and the character from Ultraman that dies in the rain, singing in the rain, and then you cut to the next panel as him face down, face planted in the street. That I laughed for a good 5 minutes about that.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it's like when I find some funny, it's funny.
Well,
Yeah, not what I make. That's questionable. So,
uh
or I just gotta find the right audience. Too mentally impaired
a very
vaudeville.
small audience. They are incarcerated and possibly from Jupiter, but yes,
We're
those are
the
your audience.
small audience. Ooh.
Yeah.
So, okay, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this coming Sunday night, and hopefully there's a lot of projects coming down in the near future. But like at the same time, yeah, you do have a lot on your plate. I'm gonna do my best not
We can
to.
mention some things. We
Okay.
can mention some things we've done. Like I mentioned, Andres and I are doing fully endorsed. That will be, I hope, out sometime in these spring months. Spring
Mm-hmm.
has already sprung, so sometime soon we'll have the first couple episodes out,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll continue to do them. You and I are doing that Sunday. Patrick and you and I have done a podcast on The Bad Sleep Well.
Right.
You, Laura, and I recorded a commentary track for Star Trek 4.
Mm-hmm. The
Uh,
one with the whales.
there be whales here. Yeah. Which was a lot of fun. I really like how that turned out.
Yeah. So we didn't. Me and Laura didn't go overboard when we started.
talking about the Orville, maybe, but that's the only point.
No. I don't. I make no regrets about talking about the Orville, especially with Laura. But I mean, when me and Laura got into our little nerd fight about, it's like
these things can be edited out.
Okay, that was a good 15 minutes of us complaining about the transparent steel plot point.
I'll just in post insert 5 minutes of newly recorded audio of me saying, "Hey, look at that bush in the background. Did you know that bush was imported from Portugal?" Something, I don't know.
It'd be funny if like you start with our actual argument and then halfway you just cut into it and you like dub our voices.
I agree. End of argument.
Also, you're the one editing it, so you can confirm whether or not who was right. So
I can do that. I can.
Yeah.
Hindsight being the victor. But no, your argument, and I do have to side with Laura Rapp, because your argument was that the transparent aluminum thing, they invented it there. It wasn't something just hot off the presses that they borrowed. They had to invent it, and that was the purpose of the whole computer thing.
Yeah, but no, my argument... Oh, great, we're going to get into it again. Oh, damn it. No, I thought they traded the information about the transparent aluminum steel just so they can get a bunch of free plexiglass for the whale tank.
No.
Okay.
I watched the movie 5 times that week, Raph. I know. Okay. I know the ins and outs. I know everything about one movie.
They really should.
Everything else I'm clueless about.
What are whales?
I don't know. They're like a bird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a seabird?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, a bird with a really big fat lip.
Yeah.
So, because, they're whales. That's a lot of blubber.
That's a lot of blubber.
Yeah.
It ends with a really great joke, too, where we see the Paramount logo. And Laura goes, "Oh, no, Star Trek 5. Captain Kirk is climbing a mountain. Why is he climbing a mountain?" But no, I'd like to do more of those on my channel at some point, just laid back commentaries, positive commentaries again, where we watch things that we like, or are at least interesting to talk about.
Yeah, because we were going to attempt a Godzilla vs. Megalon commentary, but your heart was not in it.
I was game for it before I watched it again, and I probably, I don't know, it probably was good that I watched it beforehand, because we were going to do that as a jokey, riffy thing. And if, that sort of dawned on me while watching it with you, and my heart sank. I don't know if I could keep up the funnies.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm glad we didn't do that. And I like to do things that we enjoy talking about on my channel. The sad thing is, though, it'll probably all have to go up after the MST3K episode, which will be around in the next couple months, hopefully.
Yeah. But no, I'll be ready.
Finally get that off my back.
Yeah. Let's finally get that over and done with so we can do the Manster episode. No.
Well, yeah, at some point in the future, but I'd like to do other things.
Oh, yeah,
I'd like to have a YouTube channel of my own where I can do various things and not be hounded about. Make the next episode of this. How about you make it? You make the next episode, and then we'll talk about how easy it is. Fuckface on YouTube.
But yeah, you get the trilogy done, and I think we'll be done. And besides, to be honest with you, if we ever don't do another Mystery Science Theater fan episode, it'd be really nice just to do more episodes of Up Mill Creek, because I always had so much fun doing
without a paddle.
Yeah, without a paddle. That's the full title.
You always have to add that, the subtitle.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And me and Patrick, we recorded a podcast for Godzilla 1985, aka Return of Godzilla. 84, yeah. So that's... Well, we talked about both the Japanese and American version, but yeah, that's going to be coming up later this month for sure. So I'm finishing up the title card, and yeah, we'll be good there.
So. I'm finishing up a Remember narration.
Oh, thank you very much. So,
and you and Patrick being hurled into the pit of hell.
Yes, with our terrifying PNGs, as you said so lightly. So, okay, so it's
bobblehead type.
Yes,
PNGs.
it's been 40 minutes and no one showed up. So, holy shit. But yeah, this is sort of like a little beacon for everyone to know what the hell happened. So, apologies, minor mistake. Not going to dwell on it. But Brayton, thank you for letting me know. Warrior King, thank you for letting me know. And Goji Shay and Kaiju Commander, you guys are cool, so I know this isn't going to come back and haunt me later. So
I'll be sure to mention it on every live stream we ever do. Henceforth.
Cut to my funerals. So this asshole ran.
As I have a martini glass, swing it around wildly, stooped over your tombstone.
And then when you're done saying your piece about me, it's like you roll away and turns out your lower half is like the Manborg tank. We're in the future after all.
Or like Captain Pike.
Oh yeah,
from
that's
Star Trek. Beep beep. You know, I hear his show is pretty good too. The Strange New Worlds.
yeah, that's what. Yeah, it's okay. I'm glad. I got a second opinion because I adore my friends Cammy and Mark, but they love Star Trek so much that they just recommend any damn thing that comes out of the pipe work.
No, I've heard that has it feels like, you know, it's obviously a beacon word to bring everybody in. Oh, it feels like classic Trek. But no, I've heard very good things. It feels very heartfelt and, you know, zippy and
Hmm.
much like TOS.
Yeah, and
So I'm
after you
interested.
guys shared with me some classic Star Trek, which I would love to do more in the future. Although I think I'm gonna. Is it okay to independently watch some Star Trek episodes on my
Yeah,
end? Okay.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
because it's like thanks to VPN, I just go to Canada or UK and boom, I get to watch all the Next Generation. So
Yeah. I would say, yeah. Next, if you want to watch anything on your own, that's fine. Just let me know if I
hmm.
recommend future episodes.
Okay.
You know, be honest with me what you've seen. And to that point, though, too, on our television things, we can watch things that both of us have seen, I guess, on that,
Oh yeah,
just to
yeah,
differentiate even further than from the movie Graveyard Shift.
yeah, yeah. But no, yeah, it's like what is it? We might do the Doctor Who Time Warrior next time.
Yes, we are going to do that. I've already made visual things.
Ooh, okay. I think that's next week then.
Yeah.
Come next Tuesday.
Does he do some of his patented Venusian Aikido in the movie?
No, but there's a
Gallifreyan
lot of
karate?
sword fighting.
Oh, all right.
Actually, yeah, I think he. Yeah, don't worry, you'll get Action Man John Partry.
I want to see some karate chops
Okay.
and unconvincing kicks. That's what I need to see. Good day!
I'm Cuba, how Cuba. Oh my god, I'd love to do a fan film where it's just you as John Partry just doing like insane kung fu moves, and we'll get
Now,
Andres,
my good friend, I shall kill you in one punch.
and we'll get Andres dressed up as a centaur and coming after you like several times.
I
Oh
want to
my.
see Andres with that big thing on his head.
Yeah, I'll dress up as the master. It's like, you finally found me, Doctor.
Yeah.
So
Who was the original? Isn't his last name Delgado or something?
yeah, Roger Delgado played the original master, and he's definitely one of the best actors to play the character.
Mm.
And despite the fact that we kind of lost him, he unfortunately died tragically, or
Oh,
young, so to speak.
oh,
It is nice to know that like. It's funny in hindsight. The idea of having the master be the main villain of almost a full season might have been a bad idea. But at the
yeah.
same time, that just means more Roger Delgado to enjoy. And unlike many of the other actors who've played the master, he really got a fair crack at the whip at it, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
yeah,
have to say, I am very much into getting into all of classic Who as I can. I mentioned to you and Laura privately. I'm
most.
rewatching the Hartnell stuff again.
Yes.
I do like several of those episodes,
Yeah.
and again, I like the aesthetic of those being as they kind of remind me of, you know, the live to television stuff that I'll watch here and there, like, and even like the Twilight Zone episodes that are recorded on videotape. It kind of gives me that feel just visually, aesthetically, and I
Okay.
like him as a presence. Um, I think that the school teachers are probably my favorite companions of him,
Mm-hmm.
of his, along with Susan. Um, but yeah, you know, I'm not willing to write any of it off. I'd like to see as much as I can, and
Okay.
I'll go by your recommendation.
Yeah. With that said, though, I'm definitely going to stick to the episodes that are generally good. I don't want to show you any like horrible clunkers of the old
No.
series. So
You have to be firmly invested to sit through those.
yeah, yeah. It's well, it's like there are some guilty pleasures. Like I think the
Well,
silver.
I imagine if you really like you know, if you're a fan and you really like the character, you're willing to let a lot of things slide
Oh yeah,
just to see the
definitely.
character in action.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I feel about Patrick Thornton. I love him so much that even when his stories are just unsavable, the fact that he's there makes it worth watching. So
Yeah, it's like playing with a friend and spending time, you know, watching a guy you like do stuff. That's,
exactly.
you know, there are a lot of absolutely rotten, well, I shouldn't say a lot because there aren't a lot of episodes in total, to be honest, but there are a number of really awful TOS episodes, but
Mm-hmm.
they're fun just to see, you know, the crew, and because you have investment with these group of people,
Mm-hmm.
you're willing to let a lot of things slide.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like Patrick Galvin a lot, I was going to say, you know, Patrick Galvin might not be a bad doctor.
Right.
You know, he'd better be a better master, I think.
Okay,
Patrick could be
yeah,
the master to my doctor. Is that okay
yeah,
with you?
yeah, yeah. That's better. It's like I can play a monster or something.
You could be. Didn't Doctor Who encounter the abominable snowman a few times? Isn't that
I
a
was,
famous character?
yeah, yeah. He battled Robo Yetis.
You could be our Robo Yeti.
Yeah.
Andres could be our Dalek.
Mm-hmm.
Exterminate.
Yes. And we'll film at the Doctor Who convention, so there'll be Daleks to spare. So.
That might be too much production value, though.
Oh yeah, that is true. So, plus it's an expensive convention. So.
I don't think I got a clear answer from you last time we talked about it. Are the Peter Cushing movies themselves bad as a sort of a newbie?
I
Because
like.
I'm not a total fan where I'll notice all the things that it gets wrong and stuff. Like I know that his name is Doctor Who,
Mm-hmm.
and the TARDIS is just TARDIS or something in the
Mm-hmm.
movies.
Yeah.
So I know there are things that don't line up. But as an introductory thing, do you think it's awful?
It's confusing as an introductory thing, but if you just watch them stand alone, I think they can be quite enjoyable.
Uh-huh.
But here's the thing: I personally like them, and I think the. Oh, are you okay?
Yeah, my cord went a little wonky. I'm fine.
Okay, as long as you didn't fall into a pit or something. Um,
Ooh!
Brayton, no!
Hey, I found Tom Bombadil down here. He doesn't have any work.
But finally, let's remake that crap and sell it to Amazon. Wait, it's been done. Ah, shit. No, the thing is, I personally enjoy the movies quite a bit, especially the second one, which I think is the better of the two.
Which is the Dalek Invasion
Yes,
of Earth,
yes,
which is a remake of the Hartnell story, right?
yes, yes, and I think it moves at a much better pace, and it's a lot more entertaining than the first one. And I think they're very colorful retakes on remakes of the original stories.
Yeah.
Um,
What is the first one a remake of? Because I know I imagine it's the introductory thing with similar characters,
yeah,
finding the police box and finding everything. But is it a direct adaptation of one of the stories?
yes,
Not the caveman, is it? The unearthly
no, no,
child.
no, no, no. They skipped the caveman. No, the first movie is just basically, like I said, they're not 100% accurate. They're sort of like the film versions of these stories. So they do take a lot of liberties. It's like I told you, the Doctor Who of this series is still 100% human. He just happens to be named Doctor Who.
Right. Is it so he's more of like a wacky inventor type of guy, or like the
Yes.
guy from the Time Machine?
Yes, yes. He's a wacky human inventor from Earth. And the reason they did that was because these movies.
Is he Dick Van Dyke from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
No, no, no.
Oh.
It's Peter Cushing with an iron mole. Um, take that how you like. But no, no. The thing about the Doctor. Ooh, so, yeah. The thing about the Doctor Who.
The Doctor.
Movies,
Ooh.
oh yeah. Ooh my.
Doctor Ooze.
Yes. No, the BBC made these movies so they can get more mileage out of the Doctor Who stories because so they made these for an international audience in mind, and that's why the Doctor was reimagined as a wacky professor who lives on Earth, as opposed to an alien who travels time and space. So yeah, that's going to be a little confusing, but other than that, I think they're good little action movies, and they give you kind of a taste of Doctor Who. But now thinking
They look
about
great from
yeah,
the just visually they
yeah,
widescreen and very vibrant and look like they have relatively big production for science fiction films of the day.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. No, I think that they are worth watching. And if you are just going to watch one, maybe just skip to Dalek's Invasion of Earth. But the thing is, yeah, now thinking about it, they're not exactly the best introductions to Doctor Who. They're just really good spin-off media.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, again, emphasis on good spin-off media. But no, the funny thing is a lot of people seem to flip-flop on them. Like some people say they're great, other people say they're god-awful, stick to the original TV show. So, but no, I think they're definitely worth watching. Again, it's Peter Cushing. He's so in glorious 60s Technicolor, so.
Yeah, and I love the multicolored Daleks. I think they're cute.
Yeah, no, I think the Daleks were at their best during the 60s, where they actually got to be their own little characters, and like, what is it? They were a lot more petty back then than they are in later stories. Yeah. Where it's like, yeah, you can really sense the miserable frustration of these little fascist blobs and robot tanks.
Yeah.
So
I was always under the assumption that they were robots before I started watching the thing. But
yeah.
no, there be creatures in there.
Yes, yeah, like hateful little blobs and their hateful little tanks.
Yes.
So with that says, you've seen way more William Hartnell than I have. Has there been any clunkers
I've
yet?
seen more Hartnell than you have.
Yes, I've
Oh.
only seen the Aztecs. I've only seen the Chase. I've only
I
seen.
will I will confess I have not seen in full any of the Lost things, like any of the, because that would really upset me. I think if I started watching, and I know that some of them are really good that
Mm-hmm.
are available, but the storylines with the Lost episodes intermixed between them, I've sort of skipped over just because I would hate to be invested and then have to stare at either badly done cartoons or still framed photographs that are put together like a slideshow.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll get around to those eventually. But
Yeah.
when did they come? When did they come up with the idea? Because in the Hartnell story, like in the story of the Time Meddler, where you have another, is he another Time Lord or just another Gallifreyan guy
Yeah.
who
No.
sort of meddles with their shit?
Well, Gallifreyans and Time Lords are more or less one and the same. But yeah,
Okay.
it's the first time we meet another member of the Doctor's species.
Yeah, but that's really the when did. But I was asking, when did they come up with the idea of the Master? Was that not until John Pertwee?
Yeah, that was, I think, John Partry's second season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the big thing about John Partry was that in order to save costs on production value,
Yeah.
they deliberately kept the Doctor on Earth.
Mhm.
So he was sort of banished by the Time Lords at the end of Patrick Thornton's final story and forced to regenerate into John Partry, the third Doctor.
Right.
And the big idea was it was basically Doctor Who, but if he was a member of a military unit, and it was basically their take on Quatermass, who is a very famous
Yeah.
alien fighting scientist in British culture.
Yeah.
With of course a bit of James Bond thrown in because it's John Partry, damn it.
Look at that!
I'm quite spry for my age. My mom oddly has a major disliking for John Partry's Doctor. It's like what is
Oh,
it?
really? I
Yeah.
think, see, I really want to watch him just because from those sort of clips, and I've seen interviews with him and him showing up on television in costume on
Mm-hmm.
Svengoolie popping out of coffins. He seems like I think I would really like his personality. I like his fashion sense.
Mm-hmm.
What's there to hate? Is he just too much of a war machine?
Yeah, no, I just think he might be a little too flamboyant. And
Oh,
my
well, then he's right up my alley.
and my mom
He wears a magician cape, for Christ's sake.
I love how every time he comes out in conventions, he does like that hands up thing where he gets to show off his capes.
Yes.
Behold, you lucky people, you. But anyways,
I'm here to reverse the polarity on all of your belts. I don't know.
but no, the thing, I showed Mom a couple episodes, and it's like, oh yeah, you're just so fancy, you big faker.
I get that critique. I understand. I think he and I are kindred spirits.
Mm-hmm.
The only one I'm not really sold on is some of the later, like, who is the guy? Is it the 12th? No, not the 12th Doctor. Who was the Doctor before they canceled it and then brought it back with Christopher Eccleston? The guy who kind of looks like Alan Rickman.
Oh, if Alan Rickman had the body type of Patton Oswalt.
Well, is that him? Yeah, the guy. It's the last one before it was canceled, and they brought it back. Who was that?
Okay, and not the one from the TV movie you're talking about.
I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Okay, hold on. I'll share a picture and then we'll see if we're on the same.
Not Sylvester McCoy, but the one after him.
Oh, Paul McGann.
Paul McGann. That's it.
Yeah, Paul McGann unfortunately only showed up in the 1996 TV movie.
Okay, so he
Yeah.
didn't get his own series.
Yeah,
I know he's gotten numerous audio dramas from that Big Finish thing.
Yes. No. He's actually pretty good in the role, but unfortunately, my exposure to him begins and ends with the TV movie. I've not heard any of his audio plays in full.
Okay, I had seen clips of him and had seen, or heard rather, I guess, clips of the audio thing, because I was kind of going down that rabbit hole of listening to just some of the trailers and teasers they posted online, the Big Finish people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's just a movie I guess that's easy to just watch in a Sunday afternoon or something. But
Oh yeah.
has he come back in other things since he's sort of, I guess, not an unofficial Doctor, but sort of on the outskirts of things? He never got a TV show.
Yeah, he is on the outskirts. I think that's the best way to say it. But he is officially recognized as the Eighth Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, he has not been given a chance to do a full-on return appearance other than a very brief short film during the 50th anniversary.
And he's still alive?
Yes, he's still alive and he still looks great. Like, honestly, they should honestly bring back Paul McGann and have him as a full-blown guest star. But
Aren't all the doctors post Baker are still with us, right?
yes.
Include. Oh, I'm not saying that Tom Baker's dead, but I'm just saying everybody since then are still
Yeah,
around and
no, they're
kicking.
still kicking around.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the older doctors were allowed, emphasis on allowed, to make guest appearances in the Jodie Whittaker's final story.
Wait, wait, how they were allowed? Like they had to ask for permission?
No, no. Okay, so here's the sad thing that apparently, from what I understand, based on documentaries and informed fans and some behind the scenes articles and interviews,
Yeah.
the BBC is kind of, despite the success they have with Doctor Who, they're still very embarrassed about the old failings of the original series.
Mm.
So it's one of the main reasons Paul McGann was never allowed. While they've been very hesitant to even acknowledge Paul McGann as the official Eighth Doctor. In fact, for many years they were just going to have Christopher. There was no Doctor between Sylvester McCoy and Christopher Eccleston. It was just going to be there was no Eighth Doctor. So until they finally acknowledged it in one of the episodes in a later season. But yeah, it's like for the most part, and also the showrunners of the new series really had to twist BBC arm, the arm of really had to twist the arm of BBC in order to get Tom Baker to do his cameo in the 50th anniversary.
Mm.
So yeah, there's a bit of still major hesitance to revisit the old series, and it sucks too because that means a lot of the older Doctors are kind of being wasted, so to speak. So now, granted, they're thanks to Big Finish, you can practically visit them anytime you want. Like Tom Baker is, despite him being in like his early 90s, he's really good in the audio plays.
Yeah, his voice, and he's still got the same voice.
Yeah.
It's not degraded with age.
Oh yeah, definitely not. So yeah, I'm glad that Tom Baker returned to the role, and we got
Yeah,
at
I
least.
mean that because if you listen to those things, it sounds like it was recorded, at the time where he was the Doctor. It's
Yeah,
like not a day has passed.
yeah, exactly. So,
Is the
but
writing good though?
oh, in the Big Finish ones.
Yeah, because they're not adaptations of the episodes, are they? They're wholly original stories.
Yeah, they're mostly original stories, minus a couple of remakes here and there.
Uh-huh.
And for the most part, they are pretty good. From the ones I've heard. However, again, they're audio plays, so they are limited in some regards.
But I mean, you can pretend that they're just lost episodes, and use your imagination.
Yeah, yeah. But no, the thing I was going to say is, I kind of prefer, from what little I've heard, I prefer the Big Finish plays a lot more to the new series.
Uh,
Because the new series is done for mass audiences, and as such, they get a little too ridiculous and stupid with some of their ideas.
I see.
So much so that it's like you might as well call the series more fantasy than science fiction because almost
Yeah.
every
And
episode.
ridiculous and stupid is not in the Doctor Who lexicon. I mean, for crying out loud, this is the
Well, you
Pirate
see,
Planet people here.
actually, Brayton.
No, we
Yeah,
wouldn't want any moments of levity or goofiness
yeah,
creeping in.
yeah. But no, I think the new series is a lot more straight faced about with its science fiction, and they actually go out of their way to try to give detail on why this is happening.
Mhm.
Whereas new Doctor Who, they just kind of hand wave everything, saying, "Oh yeah, it's magic. You wished for it hard enough." Like I hate to do this to you, but a good example is like remember I told you about the Autons, like those weird living mannequin guys.
Yes.
Okay, so in the original series, and the Big Finish plays, they explain that the Autons are sort of remote controlled by the Nestine, who are like telepathically bringing the plastic dummies to life.
Hmm.
Whereas in the new series, they just hand wave it away and says, "Oh, they're just living plastic." So, yeah, so you can kind of see the difference there, and I think I kind of appreciate the Big Finish for taking their silliness a little more seriously, for lack of a better comparison.
I imagine they don't have a lot of people breathing down their necks, right? That they're sort of allowed to do what they want to do since the BBC probably sees them as, oh, they're just little audio projects that can do whatever they want.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's like, yeah, I hate
So
to
there's
say,
not a lot of meddling.
yeah, there's not a lot of meddling, and to be fair, I think I hate to say it, as much as I enjoy the Big Finish audio plays, they are kind of niche. It's one of the reasons why you can get away with like the meddling monk being a major villain in one box set.
Yeah.
Whereas it took like, what is it, 5 years for the BBC to finally agree to have an Ice Warrior come back. So yeah, and it's sad too because there's a lot you can mime from old school Doctor Who that the BBC is very hesitant to do, which is one of the reasons why I think the new series is constantly struggling at trying to create a new monster every episode, to the point where they just start repeating themselves. Like seriously, there's how many times can the Doctor fight vampires and spiders in the same year?
Yeah.
Um,
They're run out of monsters.
yeah, exactly, and it's like I know that there's the issue that a lot
Why don't
of
you lend them some? You've got a lot of that shit laying around.
I know, I yeah, I do, but at the same time, knowing my
They can
luck,
fight your Apexer army.
not now, Brayton. They're supposed to be a secret till later. I thought about it. I think the Apexers would be good against the Doctor, but at the same time, it's like, no, I want to bring back the pirate captain as a hologram.
Yes, and I will play him, Mr. Fibbly. Does that make me Mr. Fibbly?
If you want.
I know. No.
Okay, all right.
I'd rather be your Mark will be your Mr. Fibbly. I will be your doctor. Patrick will be my master. See, this is all these things can tie together.
Yeah, we'll make a half-an-hour film called "The Doctor and the Convention of Doom."
Laura can be my companion. What was it? Wasn't there who is Sylvester McCoy's companion?
Ace.
Ace. That's the lady who I've seen in that blooper where he's just handing her things and crowding her into it. I watched this thing on YouTube. I don't know if you've seen it, but I guess it's an outtake from sort of special reunion thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene where he and his companion Ace, I guess, they're delivering some sort of expository dialogue, and he's handing her like a mountain of gadgets and then pushing her along inside of this TARDIS. And they do this poor scene like 8 times, and each time she's like accidentally dropping things, and it's just so relatable to me.
Okay.
So that's who I immediately thought of. Laura seems like she'd be that kind of person who would be fed up immediately with doing that. Maybe.
Yeah, I have to ask you though, was she a redheaded woman or a young teenage girl?
She looked to be a youngish girl, sort of brownish hair.
Okay, that's
wearing
Ace.
A leather jacket.
Yeah. Okay, that's definitely Ace because you might have gone. I've never seen that blooper. That sounds hilarious. So.
Oh no, it is funny, but it's very stressful watching it though, because each time they do the take, you're hoping that she doesn't drop all this mountain of metal equipment she's carrying into the. And then like when he goes to close the door behind them, he like screws up closing the door, so they have to do it all over again. It's a very amusing piece of footage.
Yeah, it is amusing, and I'll take that over. Like, I love Tom Baker, but yeah, there's some bloopers where Tom Baker shows his like inner grumpiness. It's like, I was just trying to make this fucking scene wonderful.
Wasn't there a thing where, and they kept filming it and used it in the episode where he broke his collarbone?
Yes, yeah, that was
He got knocked on his butt by
a Centauran.
A Centauran, yeah, big head guy.
Yeah. No, that's a Centauran experiment, which is only 2 episodes long. And if you wanted to extend our little Time Warrior night, that might be a good 2-parter. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, famously he was fighting the actor playing the Centauran, and you can hear the crack in the episode itself. He broke his collarbone. Ew. So yeah, thankfully the Doctor had such a long scarf, he was able to cover his cast throughout most of the scenes. But it is funny when they keep cutting to the stunt actor, and all of a sudden Tom Baker is not only slightly shorter, but more action ready. Yeah, but there's a lot of funny little stories from the set of Doctor Who like that. So
that one that you guys watched and did a stream about, the 5 Doctors that he's not necessarily in. Mm-hmm. How did they hand wave that? Like, how did they sort of disguise that he was in there? Did they really just use a mannequin?
No,
stock footage.
They only used the mannequin for like publicity stills. In the episode itself, they did use stock footage from the famously abandoned story Shada, which was only halfway filmed. So they had this extra footage, and famously Terrence Dicks, who is like a famous Doctor Who writer who wrote that story, he said in interviews, it's like, we got to get Tom in there somehow. Just have him peek his head around the corner, so to speak. And it's like, oh, we had this footage from this story called Shada. And it's like, fine, I'll put the bug in a time warp, and that will be the end of that. So
it technically was new footage because it was never seen before.
Yes, yeah, that's a perfect way to.
Well, that's odd because this is news to me that there's anything that they would film and go through all that trouble and then say, we're not going to do that. Why did they sort of give up on that?
Okay, so famously Shada, which thankfully was completed many years later as this really good 2.5-hour hybrid of animation and live action. The reason it was already in the middle of filming, but then there was a major strike of technicians at the BBC, and they were forced to close down for the holiday season. Unfortunately, by the time this strike was taken care of, it was too late to remount a filming, especially with all the sets in storage. So they just decided to cancel and move on to the next season.
I understand.
Yeah, so thankfully
Geez,
all
they're never satisfied over there, are they? I know about the electrician strikes and everything, but wow,
yeah, and
slave wages or something?
yeah, I don't know. Like I know it's sort of like in France, like they have things a lot better than we do over here. But at the same time they definitely fight for it a lot harder.
Well,
That's
I know that we've had writer strikes and things in the past, but
yeah.
that's sort of crazy that they would just abandon production and then not resume when it was resolved.
Yeah, well, the thing was, I think one of the big reasons they never finished Shada was that despite its popularity at the time, Doctor Who was never like an A caliber BBC show.
Yeah,
So had it been like a great theater act or a comedy show, they would have definitely continued it because it was Doctor Who. It's like let's just reuse whatever money we have left and add it to the next season. So,
I see.
but thankfully, Shada the footage they filmed for Shada survived. And they re-released it several times, usually with Tom Baker like doing host segments where it's like hilarious, like he's walking through a museum of his old foes, and it's like, oh, a chakra. We never fought a chakra. Shada, the unfortunately never seen story. But no, in I think 2010 or 2000, sometime in the 2010s, they actually finished Shada. With new animated bits, voiced by most of the original cast. And the animated bits aren't half bad. Yeah, it's still kind of flash animation-y, but it's definitely a lot better, and it kind of complements the main story. And they mix it with the live action footage, and they also filmed original model shots for some of the sequences. So yeah, it's nice to know that Shada is back in circulation, so to speak, but it's a very rare case. And it's a decent story. Like, I don't know if it's mind blowing. I still think City of Death and The Pirate Planet are better.
Yeah.
Because it's from the same writer, Douglas Adams. But
Douglas Adams, really?
yes. But it's still a very good story in its own right. I'm glad that it exists with us. And I'm glad that there was so much love from the fans for it that actually ended up being made in the end. But yeah, no, it's funny. Doctor Who almost met horrible ends at the hands of staff strikes multiple times at the BBC, and usually they found really clever ways around it. Like, was it The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, which deals with an evil circus? Because there was a strike going on with the studio staff, they had to film everything in the parking lot. But because it was a story about an evil circus, it's like, oh, just set up a giant tent there, our studio for the week. And similar.
Did the has the apparent and very apparent, and like I said in the past, I'm a Red Dwarf fan. I've seen many documentaries about that show.
Mhm.
Does the sort of sniffy, offhanded, like dismissive attitude for science fiction from the BBC and people over there, does that come directly from having to deal with Doctor Who as as a redheaded stepchild or something, or is that just
Not
more of a cultural thing?
I think it's just like in America, I think it's definitely more of a cultural thing, but
Because
also.
it has there's such a great lineage in science fiction from Britain when it comes to literary novels and stuff
Oh
coming
yeah,
from over there.
that is true, but think of it like 1950s America, where science fiction was hip, but nobody wanted to invest in these silly little stories outside a handful of exceptions.
Yeah.
But also, the guy who was running the BBC at the time, he really I don't know what his name is.
Not the
Um,
guy who we, not Sydney, what's his name, Sydney Newman or whatever
no, no,
from,
no, no, Cindy, no, not Sidney Newman, but during the late 70s and the 80s, the guy in charge of the BBC, he honestly did not like science fiction programming.
I got it.
And famously, he was the one responsible for Doctor Who going on an 18-month hiatus one time. And eventually they did end up canceling Doctor Who in the end because like they kept deliberately airing the series during like major soap operas on other stations, so there was no way people could find it.
Uh-huh.
And like, what is it? Infamously, from what I understand, Red Dwarf only got made because they were already promised the contracts, the money was there. There was
Yeah.
either film it or meet some major lawsuits or something. So the BBC had no choice, and it was one of the reasons why I ended up on BBC Two instead of BBC One. And yeah, so no, it was a hard time to do science fiction on BBC. Things started to kind of lessen a bit when they picked up the rights to air The Next Generation on BBC,
Yeah.
which is one of the reasons why the
And I
next
wonder why.
yeah, and it's one of the reasons why the Next Generation was such a is deeply loved in Britain more so than the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
And of course, when Buffy the Vampire Slayer started doing like record business on BBC Four, I think, it resulted in finally the BBC decide and other British networks. Oh yeah, let's try this science fiction thing again. Although granted, it'd be years until Doctor Who came back proper. But yeah, there was for a very long time no science fiction on the BBC, with rare exception.
Well, at
So
the end of the day, let us not forget the most important BBC of all, and that's Big Brayton Connor. Thank you very much.
it's like you're looking over the Cylinder Studios of BBC. It's like, it's Big Brayton Connor, no science fiction.
Dance my puppets.
I want more Teletubbies. You fire lightning and Teletubbies just appear in the middle of the studio.
Yes. I zap them into creation.
Yeah, but no, that's what I love about the Doctor Who DVDs. They go into so much detail about what's going on behind the scenes, and usually with a very honest and earnest, if somewhat
Warts
less
and all.
yes, warts and all.
Documentaries.
Yeah, I will. Hold on. Okay, I thought I was going to get a little bit of a hiccup there.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, warts and all. Although personally, I think they're a little too harsh on their own special effects. Like, granted, a lot of those monsters look terrible, but you don't have to say that.
Well,
About
that's
every
why
story.
I mentioned that in one of my reservations about getting a Doctor Who was like, I love the idea of Doctor Who. I like all the actors. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
like the just conceit of everything. I just in some of the scenes that I've seen, it just especially in the one because I can give a lot of the Hartnell and Patrick Troughton stuff a pass because it's sort of hidden beneath the scrim of the videotape black and white thing where
Mm-hmm.
some things, yeah, they look bad, but you can kind of excuse it because it sort of fits the aesthetic of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get into the mid 70s Doctor Who where it's in color and they have the really bad effects, it's like it just feels like the conceit and the whole idea of it feels let down by the shoddy production nature of everything.
Yeah, no, I totally see where you're coming at because it's like even if you have like a really good script, it's ruined by like a really terrible special effect.
Yeah, if you let teenage kids who couldn't give a damn make a production of Hamlet, it's probably gonna suck.
Yeah, it's like what is it? Like I really love the Pirate Planet, and but at the
Yeah.
same time I appreciate that they were being more ambitious than usual with that story. But it also helps that that story doesn't have any rubber monsters in it outside a very troublesome behind the scenes robot parrot.
I remember that.
Yes, yes. Yeah, apparently it took them hours to film that parrot, and it was such a pain in the ass that any visiting kids on that set got yelled at.
Don't touch the parrot.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to get this done, damn it. But yeah, but then you look at City of Death, which is arguably like one of the best Doctor Who stories ever, and yet there's
Yeah,
still that
that's the
like
one with the guacamole man.
yeah,
Right?
exactly. It still has like I love the character of Scaroth, but at the same time, it's still a rubber mask with a little eyeball glued on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like granted, there's some Doctor Who stories where the special effects are so goddamn awful I can't recommend it, like Warriors from the Deep.
I thought that was a Roger Corman movie. By the way, happy birthday, Roger Corman.
Oh yeah, how
He's
old is he?
97.
97. Okay,
Jeez Louise.
hang in there, please, sir. We don't want to hear you going.
Yeah.
Oh
He
my
still
god.
seems, like I mentioned, he still seems really with it and really in good
Mm-hmm.
for a guy. We were talking about how William Shatner looks great for his age and is very with it mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Corman, 97 years old. There was that interview I was having you listen to from just a year ago, and he sounds like himself and is very intelligent and very collected.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's for all the drugs I imagine would have to go into some of those movies. He seems to have been unaltered and undiluted by the 60s.
To be honest, though, I think Roger Corman is a pretty smart cookie, for lack of a better
Yeah,
term.
that's what I mean is interesting because he seems like especially in his day, being in the very liberal and very beatnik kind of crowd, and
Mm-hmm.
being one of the the more go-getter type of filmmakers. But you hear him talk, he seems very much like a well-kept sort of square guy who's very intelligent and ahead of the pack.
Yeah, and the fact that he was able to make all those movies and really balance the budget so beautifully, it's like
Yeah.
and he has more good movies than bad. I will say that. Well,
Yeah.
once he
Okay, he has more interesting movies than just dull movies.
that is true because he also gave us the Carnosaur trilogy, and
Yeah.
I could have done without those films. So
Yeah, I think when you start to veer into the 80s, then the quality goes a little steep.
oh yeah,
So it's down
definitely.
a steep slope. But no, he's a very competent filmmaker when he's given the means to be.
Yeah, and he's contributed so much to the business as well. It's like for crying,
Yes.
like he unofficially
That should
created
really
modern
be his
Hollywood.
Yeah, that should really be his legacy, and just how many people, how first off, what a great guy he was for giving all these people a chance to do anything,
Mm-hmm.
and giving them work when they couldn't get work anywhere else, and
Yes.
treating them nicely,
Oh yeah, definitely. So,
and not throwing them to the curb like a big studio would.
it's I don't want to bring up the possibility, but when he does die, how big do you think his funeral is going to be? Like how many people are going to attend it?
Well, all of his monsters. I hope it's like the Jim Henson funeral. You remember where Big Bird came out and sang "It's Not Easy Being Green"? I want the monster from Creature from the Haunted Sea to come out and sing "The Wind Beneath My Wings" or something. I don't know.
And then just the crab monster scuttles about with like Jack
Yeah, they all get
Nicholson.
together.
Yeah, I can't tell the
The
difference.
bird alien from Night of the Blood Beast comes
Oh
out.
yeah, that guy.
Everybody gets together.
And they're all like really terrible decaying props, but they're still working.
I wonder
Oh.
where a lot of those suits are. I wonder, they're probably thrown away and long since demolished, but it'd be funny if they were preserved in a special Corman museum or something. Joe Dante has them all in his basement,
Oh
like Bob
yeah.
Burns and all of his heads.
Oh yeah, and like what is it?
Well, but Bob Burns probably has a lot of that stuff, doesn't he? Because he got a lot of the American International props, like the masks and of like the saucermen and stuff. So he probably has some stuff.
Yeah, and also like I think Bob Burns, despite the fact they didn't have like a live-in museum like poor Forrest Ackerman, I
Yeah.
think he took care of his stuff a lot better.
Yes.
So yeah, I think a lot of that might survive. Meanwhile, I don't know what the hell happened to Forrest Ackerman's collection.
Yeah.
So
Probably all sold off.
yeah, sold off or thrown away because yeah, it's literally it was like I don't want to call Forrest J. Ackerman a hoarder, but yeah, his house was getting
I've seen photos and
okay.
ooh.
Oh dear. And to think when I was a little kid, it's like I want to visit his house, mommy. No.
It's a OSHA disaster.
The creepy house on top of Haunted Hill in the middle of Hollywood. Look, he has an Ultraman mask. Who cares? Get out. Now I'm going to add you to
Come
my
here, pet
collection.
my brontosaur. Run, Raph, run.
Oh
He's
my
chasing you
god.
down the hill.
It's like a white shot. It's just as bad as like the Beast of Yucca Flats.
Yeah, like with Tor and his stick chasing those kids. What I love about that too is he just gives up though and stands there as they run off into the distance. That's why I love Andres' comment of Tor smash, yeah, Tor bluff.
Yeah, so was that movie such a bad experience as the main reason why Tor Johnson decided not to do movies anymore?
Was that his final film?
I think that was.
Because
So,
I was under the impression that he worked up until his death, which I don't think was that far after The Beast of Yucca Flats. But
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think he had any negative. I think that was just another weekend of work and literally shot in a weekend with no script and him just in the desert doing things. I honestly don't think he paid much mind to it.
Yeah.
However, I find that film endlessly fascinating, and it is in the sickest of senses, it is a favorite of mine, just because I find every single frame of it just interesting to deconstruct.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think that that would be something I'd want to do a commentary on with you in earnest at some point.
Oh yeah, we could also to fill up the hour because it's only an hour-long film, so we could easily fill up a lot of stuff. But we could easily talk about like a lot of the other what our thoughts on the other damn it.
Coleman Francis.
Coleman Francis. I almost called him Forrest J. Ackerman again.
Who is Coleman Francis as Roger Corman minus a lot of the talent and any of the charm. He seemed
Yeah.
like a genuinely humorless man, which makes that stuff so interesting to me because it legitimately comes across like he was trying to create some sort of dark, twisted poetry Like if like beat poetry was a movie, that'd be The Beast of Yucca Flats.
That's a
And the fact that it's almost genius in a way, and just how devoid and hopeless and cynical it is,
mm-hmm.
but also so hilariously awful in every single aspect of filmmaking.
Yeah.
That's what I find interesting about it.
Yeah, no, now that you mention, I never even thought of it that way because yeah, it does feel like a really like if a depressing beatnik made a nihilistic monster movie.
Yeah, because it has all this sort of lyrical, musing
Mm-hmm.
narration, and nothing ever really
No.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating.
Yeah, it's like he was aiming high, but it failed so low.
Yeah, it's not high art, it's low art, but
mm-hmm.
somehow circles back around to be at least worthwhile.
Yeah, it's like I think you really see that in like a much more painful way with Red Zone Cuba,
Yeah.
and it doesn't like as much as I like the Skydivers, it doesn't work so well in that movie because it really does feel more like a tonal shift. It's
Hmm.
like yeah, you have this really stupid musical number in the middle, so it's how so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
and
Skydivers is almost too competent to where it becomes kind of boring to me.
mm-hmm.
It's because it just comes across like a lackluster movie. Red Zone Cuba is funny because it's sort of his hero fantasy or villain fantasy in that situation. And it's funny to see him, lug his big ass around and talk, and sort of muse in live action.
Bay
But
of
I think,
Pigs.
yeah. Well, the guy over there gonna have to kill him.
By the way,
Isn't the riff in that episode when he says Bay of Pigs? Mike says that's what they call it when I go to the swimming pool or something. But
he brings his own beach with him.
but no, I think the Beast of Yucca Flats is truly him operating at the height of all of his powers,
Mm-hmm.
and that was his first movie. So
Really? Okay, so in his last movie, was it Beast of Yucca Flats, or was that the
no, I
Skydivers?
got no Beast of Yucca Flats. I think Beast of Yucca Flats was his first movie, then Red Zone Cuba, and then Skydivers. So there's gradual improvement,
Yes.
but in my opinion, like I said, it's another Orson Welles type syndrome of like, starting out really high.
In the reverse with Coleman Francis in that regard.
Yeah.
So it's we could easily make a Coleman Francis movie, but then again, I fear we'd fail as badly as Mr.
Well,
Noise.
that's what I've said in the past. The guy who's come closest to being him is someone like a Neil Breen, who is truly earnest about their work, and
mm,
his movies kind of have a joyless feel to them, much in the way of Coleman Francis. Like that's the
yeah,
closest proximity I can think of a guy working now.
yeah.
But it wouldn't be hard, but I think it would be, it, as try as we might, we wouldn't have that soul at the center of it, that soulless soul that Coleman Francis displays so well.
I'll take a I'll take a Coleman Francis movie over a Neil Breen any day because Coleman Francis, yeah, he's kind of far up in his own behind, but he hasn't transformed into an anal oberus that Neil Breen has become. Get
Well,
that whole
Coleman Francis didn't have social media too, so you
yeah,
have to wonder.
yeah, that's true too because it's like what is it like I I saw somebody do a retrospective on Death Note, the anime about a teenage boy who uses a magical notebook to murder thousands of people.
Yeah.
And yeah, it really was sobering just to see how why edge lord teenagers got into Death Note in the first place. But
The
yeah,
only thing of Death Note I've seen is there's a video online that was I guess a copy pasta. Someone made a video out of it of Columbo versus the kid from Death Note, and the kid from Death Note doesn't know Columbo's first name because Columbo doesn't have a first name. So he's like, "Oh no, well just one more thing. My first name's Lieutenant," and he's like scribbling out different possibilities. And I know that the guy who directed Kong and Godzilla Christmas Vacation directed that movie too.
yeah, I've never seen the live action movie, but I have seen the whole anime series and this little
Yeah.
retrospect on Death Note from Bennett the Sage, I think is his YouTube name. It was very sobering because yeah, there's a lot of disturbing things about the anime, but the fact that he compared the main villain, Light Yagami, aka the kid who can't write
Yeah.
Columbo's name,
Yeah.
he says no, he has less to, he's not a sympathetic hero. He's basically Neo Breen's anime versions. And
Ah.
yeah, and I hate to say Neil Breen, his films have some really dark undertones where I would not be surprised if he ends up in jail. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, the warning signs were there, but we were too busy making fun of it to notice.
Oh my
So
god.
yeah, but no, the whole thing, like almost in all of Neil Breen's movies, he like ends up killing millions of people just for like, I
And
did it.
he
Yeah,
yeah, he has that hero complex too of
yeah,
Wanting to be the savior of all mankind.
Yeah, well, while at the same time doing really horrible things to mankind. And you know someone's crazy when they said, "Oh, the evil capitalists and the woke liberals have taken us to hell." It's what? That's like saying the innocent deer who got eaten by the lion, they're both to blame for dying.
Were you ever eaten by a lion?
No,
Why not?
I'm alive.
Oh, I wasn't okay. I wasn't aware.
Okay, were you eaten by a lion?
Oh, once in my youth.
Okay.
I escaped though. It's in the Bible.
Oh, all right. Wait, no, that was a whale that swallowed a guy.
That was a big fish. They'll always correct you on that.
Okay. Oh yeah, but they didn't.
Because a big fish's digestive system is far different than a whale's digestive system.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously more plausible.
Oh, it's all.
It was Gamera.
Yeah. So, Gamera's coming back. Huzzah? Question mark.
Gamera will be back for about a month.
Yeah.
Before he's put back on the shelf and the cobwebs collect once again.
Yeah, that's, I know everyone's just going to be complaining about the series and not watching it or enjoying it. So that's the one thing I'm not looking forward to. So, but oh wells. But Gamera's coming back, so he's not. Yeah, whatever. We'll see what happens. It's you got to tamper your expectations.
Yes.
It's like recently they announced they were going to make a live action Get a Robo film. And I was all excited, but it's like, oh wait, it's not officially confirmed. They're just doing a crowdfunding thing for a trailer, and it's like, Raph, first off, you should have known better. But granted, we've been getting a lot of pretty ambitious CGI kaiju films in the last few years. But it's like, yeah, this is probably gonna end. It's not gonna end well, and if it does, it's not gonna end well.
No.
But anyways. No, so we've been talking for almost 85 minutes now. Do you want to wrap it up?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, but no, this was a good little stream. Thank you, Brayton, and thank you everybody earlier. Sorry we weren't here. But yeah, if you guys check this out, know that that's what happened. And
I'm sorry, I'm distracted again by stupid things. But
you, Raffy!
No. But it was I'm glad I could at least let you know before things got too heavy.
Yeah.
That, you were broadcasting all your deviousness to us.
Yeah, no, it was a good thing we stopped the stream before I started doing the most horrible thing any person can do by themselves at their computer. Home karaoke.
Uh-oh. Raph is gonna sing the theme song to Gamera Super Monster.
Ichibudo Sabaha. I don't speak Japanese, but I'll fake it. Yes, I will. Haza baza hoo. Kamen Rider, swing high. Okay, I'll stop.
See, that's what you missed.
Yes. Okay, but no, thank you very much, Brayton, for this little kind of pick-me-up after that horrible faux pas. And also, thank you everybody who was... Well, first off, apologies for everybody who was expecting me to say something. But yeah, I was streaming accidentally, so... But that's all I'm going to say on it. Like I said, in retrospect, it was a relatively minor mistake, so...
Ha!
Okay, so... Yeah, one last look at what I was working on, and that's it. So,
what were you working on?
Just as a plesiosaur monster with Godzilla-like spikes.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so business as usual.
Yeah, it's for my kaiju book. I'm at 55 illustrations so far. And
of just this guy?
No, I'm trying to do a
kaiju. At the beach and at a picnic and in a rocket ship.
And he's going to go into a cave and find gold, and he's going to join the Goonies and go on an adventure, and then they're going to buy helicopters.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to do a kaiju art book, but I want to make it something more significant than just pictures. So there's going to be a lot of written information on the characters themselves.
How about pop-ups?
I like pop-up books, but they're too ambitious, and even if I could do them, they always break after a little while. So it's best not to. I speak from experience.
You should just have one randomly placed surprise pop-up page.
Oh yeah, like in the middle of the book you lift it, it's just my big photographic face. Like, yeah, enjoying the book so far? Well, you shouldn't. Okay, but yeah, no, I got 55 illustrations done so far, and that's not counting the text I've done, but I haven't counted that. Although I think it's Yeah, I'm roughly at 80 pages so far, but
Wow.
I'm trying to get to 140 to make it a proper book.
All right.
That's a lot of monsters. So yeah, I'm kind of taking a break from just like I'm still doing commissions on the side, but I'm taking a break from like, too many like fancy illustrations for my Twitter and Instagram account, and just focus on these monsters, and I'll share them in June properly. But for the most part, yeah, that's my big thing right now. So
Very good.
okay, yeah, thank you, Brayton. So again, Brayton, thank you for joining us, and
Well, thank you very little. You're welcome even less. We'll see everybody Sunday.
yes, we'll see you Sunday for the movie Graveyard Shift with the Blues Brothers, and that's pretty much it. So,
We're a soul man.
it's a
Yes.
soul man.
I'm very much looking forward to it. It'll be hopefully our stream doesn't get pulled because there's song after song after song. But
It'll just be muted. I don't think anything bad will happen, but I'll do a backup recording. I think we'll be okay.
okay.
Okay. All right. So farewell.
Auf Wiedersehen.